Hello there. Today, we're going to be giving you a quick introduction to the new changes released with Apptivo's Homepage v5. We're very excited that Homepage v5 has just made it out in the middle of March, and we wanted to give you a quick overview of what's now available. These changes have taken immediate effect, so you'll see all of these are now in your account, and let's take a look at what we've done. So Homepage v5, you might be asking, well, what is that? What is included in there? And what we've got is actually a very large series of changes. It's affected many different areas inside of the system. And at its core, what we've done is, yes, we focus on the home page and those dashboards you see when you first log in, but we've actually fully updated the collaboration features throughout Apptivo. And that's the calendar, the emails, the newsfeed, the follow-ups, the same things you see on the home page. But we've actually changed not just the home page, but actually the individual features inside of each of the applications as well. So we've got a bunch of little updates, lots of user interface changes and everything, but there are a couple brand new special features. So let's quickly run through these features that came out. The number one thing is your new agenda. So you'll be able to have now a single view that shows every event and follow-up and task that's on your calendar. And you can see that right here. It's great where now I have one page. It's the first thing that shows when I log in, and I can immediately see everything that I have to work on not only today, but tomorrow, off into the month, or I can even browse into the past if I want right here. The idea is it just saves you a little bit of effort. Now you have to check fewer spots to figure out what to work on. Otherwise, the next most important feature is we've added this great new pop-up alert system. So one of the common requests from our users was to be able to get a notification on their screen, like right before an appointment started or right when they needed to follow up and call a customer, so they didn't have to go looking for it, they wanted it to just show up. So we've added this great new alert system. Whenever, let's say, you add a new event to the system, you're able to tell it to remind you, and I can set one or multiple reminders, and these will get triggered automatically right before the event, and it'll show a nice little pop-up here in the bottom right corner of the screen. Otherwise, we've added a lot more customization options, so when you first log into the system, being able to change things around. So I can actually rearrange these, disable these entirely, and just make it fit how I'm using Apptivo. And we've also added some new changes to the navigation system. So up here on the top of the page, you'll see that I can have the same thing as before, where previously I had individual applications, the customers and employees and projects, and they're available in one click. But now I can actually group them into categories. So I can have my whole CRM category available in one click, and that's just a little bit easier than going to the More menu and then picking CRM and then picking an app. Otherwise, we have released a lot of other little changes. You can check them out here on the blog, but those are lots of little UI updates and everything. So let's just go ahead, let's take a look through the features, and let me demonstrate a bit about how you can take advantage of these new features. Okay, so first of all, we logged in. We see our agenda here. Let's quickly explain what these are. So the agenda, as I said, is made up of the other activities, and that includes the tasks and the calendar and the follow-ups. These features generally work the same as before, but as you flip between each of these, you will notice there's been a couple enhancements to the interface. So we've just done a little bit of updating and made it a little more pleasing to look at, and we've added in a couple little cool controls here, such as some built-in filters to help you group your tasks a little bit easier. And we've also added some customization, such as the default page that shows up when you come into an app. But the idea is all three of them, they're collected together here. So when you look at your agenda, this is our new recommended way to figure out what you need to work on each day. You'll come through, and it still separates each type of activity. It's in its own little area, but it just makes it easier to browse through. So down here on the bottom in this hourly breakdown, these are the events that you have. These have a specific date and time. It's the highest priority, which is followed by the follow-ups. These are just a date and a note. And then over on the right, we have our task list, which is based on the due date. And we can filter that in a couple different ways here as well. One thing that you might want to do is reorganize these. So maybe now that you have the agenda, you don't think tasks or calendar, you don't need the individual views or you don't need all of them. Maybe you just want to reorder them. So in this example, I put tasks on the top, but maybe the calendar is your most used feature. We can actually fully customize these now. You'll notice up here, if you click on your name, this whole interface has been refreshed, and I can head into the business settings. So we have updated all of these kind of core admin level features, the preferences and the business settings. So in here, I can hop in. We've added a new collaboration page right here, and you'll see that I have the ability to rearrange these. So I can move tasks down below follow-ups, for example, And I can also completely disable things. So you'll notice that I didn't have call logs there. Previously, if you weren't using a feature, you just kind of had to live with it. So now if you're not going to use something, you can actually turn it off entirely. So I've got call logs disabled, and that means when everybody logs in, now they just have a little bit more simple of an interface. Okay, so you could rearrange these, but I did tell you that you could customize one layer further. So one other thing you might want to do. So for example, when I click on tasks, I'm the kind of person who likes to go work on my tasks based on the priority. Some people like to work based on their due date. Okay, well, what is due today? What is due tomorrow? So we have two different views right here. We have added a couple more to each area. We actually had both of these views already. But before it was always going to the list view. And for me, I had to click table view and it's one extra click. But now I actually have the ability to go in. You'll see there's a settings area for each one of these homepage dashboards. And I can click the views option. And now you'll see that I actually have the ability to I can actually disable a view entirely. So I have actually shut off the calendar view, even though it exists. And I can also choose my default. So I had table view selected, but I can choose one of those other ones, such as list view. And then every time I come to tasks, you'll see it'll go to that specific default. So you're going to be able to hop through there. I definitely recommend doing a little personalization if you've already been using the system for a while. You kind of have a feel for what you want to utilize. Let's just quickly talk about a few more of the enhancements. So back in the business settings area, we saw most of it. We did do a little more flexibility. Now collaboration security is broken into 4 pages, and we've just made some of this information a little bit easier to understand and update. So this whole interface has just been updated with our latest technologies. If we take a look at, let's say, the calendar, there's some things that did not function previously, which are now added in. One of which is better cross-linking of things. So for example, if you go and view an event inside of the system, and then if you click on a customer or a project, previously they wouldn't be able to actually link into the system. Now we've added our new side panel technology, so I can actually be viewing an event, and if I need to, let's say, get the customer's phone number or their address, I can click on this, it just opens up a little panel, and I can instantly get their details. And I can also take quick actions, so I can log a phone call against that account straight here from the appointment, or I could go and fully dive in and get the details. So we've done a much better job of getting everything interlinked and kept together. So here, if I go check out my calendar, one thing I do want to point out is, okay, yes, I was able to get here straight from the main homepage calendar, but also you'll notice that this interface has been updated. So when I said the changes are present throughout the system, what I mean is each one of these tabs inside of the applications, they will have all of the same changes that you have in the main homepage. So here you can see I've got my follow-ups configured to our new list view, which is one of the new settings that you have available. All this will function exactly the same as you found back on the main homepage. Okay, so that's it for today's demonstration. The last thing I'll leave you with is a preview of a couple things coming up. One thing you might have noticed is we updated our email interface, added a lot of cool little utilities here. You're going to notice some new improvements coming out related to connecting activities you're working on to the next activity. So for example, we know that when you're sending an email or when you're reading an email, you might create a task from that email. So we're trying to add in little hints and little connectors to your processes right here to make things just faster. So if I need to create a task from this email, now I have a button right here to do so. One other thing that a lot of customers have asked for that we're working on is a global search utility. So people want the ability just to type in a name up here and get a list of anything in the system that's related to it. So we understand that just it makes it easier so you don't have to go looking in multiple spots, and we're working on delivering a solution like that. Otherwise, you can expect lots of little enhancements such as more pop-up alerts. Right now it's just the standard desktop alert. We want like an email alert, some other types, and other little usability improvements. So thanks for checking out this video. Hope you like the new changes, and if you have any feedback, please let us know at using our feedback button right up here in the upper right corner. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.